Today we're going to continue writing equations from real-world situations, and our focus will be on using subtraction and division to do this. We're going to complete the table to help us work our way towards writing an equation for the situation. A craft project says the length of the red ribbon should be 7 inches less than the length of the blue ribbon. So if we know the length of the blue ribbon, we want the red to be 7 inches less. If we're making something less, we're going to be subtracting. So first thing I'm going to do is figure out values based on the numbers I do know. So I'm going to take the blue ribbon 10, and I want 7 inches less than that, so subtract 7. So we would say the red ribbon should be 3 inches. Likewise, if I have 27 inches for blue ribbon, and I'm still wanting it to be 7 inches less than that, subtract 7 there, and my red ribbon should be 20 inches. When we go to write the equation, we are going to not know the value, so we're using the variable x. And if we look at what we've done in the same way for both of these, we've taken the amount that we're told, and then we have in both of those, and then we have subtracted 7 each time. So whatever number we have for blue is then subtracted by 7. So when we don't know that number, we can use that variable x, and we would be subtracting 7. And that would tell me the length of the red ribbon. In this next example, we're going to create an equation and then also use that to solve a secondary question. Gabrielle is sharing her Jolly Ranchers. She has 64 in total. Determine how much each friend gets based on the number of friends she's sharing with. Okay, so as we read through these situations, we want to think about what operation does this connect with. Okay, if we're sharing something and we want to share something equally, that indicates that we'll be dividing. Okay, when we are dividing or when we're subtracting, the order matters. So just be careful as you're writing which value comes first in the equation and which value should come second. In this problem, when we're using division, we want to think about which of those items will be getting split up. So we are going to split up the 64 Jolly Ranchers. So when I'm evaluating this, I'm going to be thinking 64 is being divided. Okay, so in the table, I'm going to figure out values based on the number of friends we share with. If I'm only sharing with 2 people, I'm going to take the 64 and I'm going to divide that by 2. Okay, I'm going to set up my division here. 2 goes into 6 3 times. And 2 goes into 4 2 times. So the number that each friend would get would be 32. Next column is the 4, and again, each set of numbers here is independent from each other, meaning we don't change our answer here based on this number. Okay, so we're still starting with the 64. And we're dividing that now between 4 people. Again, let's do out our division. 4 goes into 6 1 time. Bring down the 4. And 24 divided by 4 would be 6. Okay, so if we share with 4 people, each person gets 16. And notice the things that you are doing in the same way each time. So we divided, and what we divided by changed. Okay, so our first number the 64 is staying the same. So when I go to write my equation, okay, I'll start with that 64. I know I'm dividing, but I don't know what I'm dividing by, so I'm leaving that as the variable f. Okay. If I did 64 divided by f, what that would tell me is how many Jolly Ranchers each person gets. So that's, I'll abbreviate that with just JR for Jolly Ranchers. Now we use these equations to help us solve further questions. So the last piece here says each friend got 8 Jolly Ranchers. How many friends did she share with? So when I look at this equation, I need to make sure that this value gets put in the right place. Okay, so it represents how many Jolly Ranchers someone got. So if I replace that in my equation, that's what this is equal to. So this would equal 8. So what I'm looking to solve for here is the f. And so what I want to know is 64 divided by what number is 8, or 64 divided by 8. And we know 8 times 8 is 64, so f in this problem equals 8. What makes this problem a little bit more difficult is, again, when we are doing subtraction and division problems, the order matters. So take your time when you're placing your values into your equation. And then again, we can continue to work with writing these equations as practice makes perfect.